Want your fireplace to look like this? Like brand spanking new? Give us a few seconds, watch the intro, and I'll talk you all the way through it. Welcome back, fellow painters and decorators of the interweb. This is Phil Beckwith, your professional painter and decorator. What did you think to my new little intro? What did you rank to that? That little bit of a graphic. Ooh, matron. Ooh. Back with you today. I said I'd do a bit of a follow-up on this house renovation run, and when we come to do the fireplaces, we'll do a bit of a talkie about it. So here we are now. Said we'd come back onto the renovation project and talk about the fireplaces. So here we are, we're into fireplace number, I think this is number 4, but this is the really interesting one to do because it's got a fire surround. So I'm going to flip the camera over and show you what we've got, what we're doing with it. Let's not make a 20-minute video out of painting fireplaces, we don't need to do that. So let's have a spin over. Right, here we are. So this is what we're up to. We've got a wooden surround that we're cleaning down, and we've got the cast metal fireplace around there. Now the idea is we're going to clean the wood down. Now you can imagine over the years it's been the Mr. Sheens and the polishes and bits and pieces like that on it, so giving it a bit of a sand for a key, but then to clean it down, because to get rid of your waxes and bits and pieces, you see, using methylated spirit, because that obviously, you know about cleaners and stuff like that, methylated spirit softens up the wax and cleans it, and it evaporates so it doesn't leave anything on the surface. So the idea is we're going to clean down the wood with the methylated spirit, give it a key, and that will be varnished up. I'll come to that in another section. And then the cast, we'll talk about doing Zevo black lead on this, but it's a messy process. You have to apply it with a brush, get it all into the nooks and crannies, and then get some soft cloth, lint free soft cloth, buff it all off, and it highlights the raised areas and leaves it different colour in the back, because it burnishes it, makes it all nice. What we're going to do, we're going to use a Zinsser All Coat exterior. It goes over ferrous and non-ferrous metals, so this being a bit of a ferrous metal, if you wanted to splash it with water like some of the other fireplaces have been, that would be an ideal product. You can also use oil-based black eggshell and things like that, but because this is going to be a more decorative working fire, the Zinsser All Coat exterior will be ideal on this. So that's where we are. I don't want to make it a boring 20-minute video. I've shown you what we're doing, how we're doing it, and I'll come back when we're in the process of painting it and you can see it actually being done, and then when we've done, I'll get some photos of it actually completed. So that's all for now. I'm only a few minutes in. Brilliant, thank you, bye. Tell us what you're doing then.
Right, I've gone over it all about 4 times with 120 wet and dry sandpaper, and I've vacked it all up now, so there's actually no dust on at all, and I'm going over with methylated spirits just to remove the remaining wax traces that might be on the surface before I put the actual varnish on. So I'll make sure all that wax is off, and then there'll be proper adhesion to it. You see how it's bringing the colour up, and that's how it'll be when it's actually varnished.
And you can also see, when I say about methylated spirits evaporates off, unlike white spirit that's got a bit of a greasy element to it, methylated spirits evaporates, whereas
it doesn't leave any trace of anything.
It doesn't leave any trace of anything. You can see it there, it's going back down to its natural wood colour.
See what's coming off. It's all wax.
And that's the wax coming off the surface.
So that's about it for the moment.
Because if you think about it, your thinner for anything beeswaxy is your methylated spirit. A bit like shellac is denatured alcohol base, which is methylated spirit, and your shellac softens back up, like your shellac knotting, that softens back up with methylated spirit. You don't use white spirit or cellulose thinners, it's just methylated spirit. So this is very similar to that. You've got wax on the surface that needs to be softened up, and methylated spirits is the thinner stroke cleaner for a wax surface, and that's what we're doing on here, getting the wax off prior to varnishing. So can you see where we are at the minute? We'll leave him to carry on and we'll come back when he's ready for the next stage. So we're back on it. Now the grate, just cleaning it down with a little bit of, well, you see the state of that. That's where you've got your ferrous metal, and ferrous metal being something that rusts. A non-ferrous metal, well, stating the obvious, there's one that doesn't rust. Now, where it's got splashed with water over the years, you've got it rusting, so just a wire brush over it, just clean it down, a little bit of sandpaper, job's a good one. So this is where we are at the moment, so see you in a bit. Right, I'm back with you. Now, not to bore you all with putting a coat of paint on, we've already got a first coat of the Zinsser All Coat exterior on this. It's been done the last couple of hours, so we're now just giving it a second coat. Now 2 coats will be plenty on this, and the beauty with the Zinsser All Coat, and this is the Zinsser All Coat exterior, it dries pretty quick, so within that 2 hours it's nice to come back and work on top of it. If you can see, it gives a lovely satiny finish. See it in there, and with it drying quickly, it means later on we can get a coat on the fireplace. So there you go, that's the 2 coats on there, and look, we're back after what, I'll say about an hour. It's as good as dry, but dusty hands, so I'm not going to touch it. And what else we've done, let's move that varnish out of the way. We've done the grate in the front where the pan goes, and that's all we've used. Zinsser All Coat, black exterior, brilliant stuff. Now we're coming on to varnishing the fire surround. Now we've done the outdoors in this trade varnish, no nonsense, clear satin, dries rock hard, it's brilliant, quick drying, tough and durable. So we're going to use exactly the same onto the fireplace surround. Now some people will say, oh, use oil varnish, oil varnish. Well, if you want to use oil varnish you can do, but just bear in mind oil varnish takes longer to dry. We don't want it being too long between coats, so this stuff will dry within about 10-15 minutes. Give it an hour or so and we can give it a second coat, and that'll be lovely. Also, the beauty of this trade floor varnish, it goes straight on, you don't really need to be thinning it either. And now it's all been cleaned down, that feels so much better. It doesn't have that waxy feel to it. Once it's all been cleaned down, you can coat it up, and away we go. So see you later. Right, it's Phil Beckwith back with you. Not doing the varnishing myself. We've got Doug Beckwith, the master painter. How many years in the trade this year, Doug?
60 odd.
60 something. Set up the business in 1965. I'm still going strong. So here we are, we're applying the water-based floor varnish. Proper kettle, working out one side of the kettle there, not using that side, just using one side. That's how you do it properly. Now carefully applying it. We're starting here so we can actually see it. You can see with the sun coming across. See where we are. Is it pulling on you? No, it's not pulling, so it's nicely going in. And what we do, we apply it, lay it off nicely, nib down between coats, final coat. Tips of the bristles. Now this brush, if any brush, people have asked me what brushes have I got. Well, we've got various brushes, but this brush is a 2-inch and it's a Wix own brand. And now you're going to laugh, it's a Wix own brand, but we find these Wix own brand brushes, there's a pack of 3 and they're about 11 or 12 pounds. They've got a lovely soft bristle with a flagged hammered tip, which is ideal for water-based paints. So you can lay it on, crow's nest it, lay it off just with the tips of the bristles. You're not applying too much paint or varnish as we are doing now. I think the sun's going to kill us on this one. Right. That's how we do it. So yeah, that's just a week's brush. Lovely. We've got various brushes. We've got the Arrow Worthy, we've got the Eco Union, some Hamilton brushes. We've got a mix of everything. It's just use what feels best to you, but we do like a soft bristle and something that can lay off water-based paints nicely. Right, I'll see you back in a bit. Right, so there we have it. Coming back to you after about 3/4 of an hour. That's all been coated up. We're just going to start nibbing it down and it'll have a second coat. So away we go. So here we are, back again. It's all been nibbed down, dusted off using a proper duster brush. Have you got your duster brush on you? Proper duster brush, not some 4-inch stumpy emulsion brush, proper duster brush. Now, second coat's going on now. I'm not going to bore you with the ins and outs of painting the fireplace again. So that's going to have a second coat. When I come back, it'll be some stills, i.e. photos of it finished. And the job's all nice and neat and done and whatever you want to call it. What I will point out to you is, because it was well cleaned down, if you can see, I don't know whether you can see, we don't get any sissing with a water-based varnish or water-based paint. If you're going over like a waxy surface, stuff that's had Mr. Sheen on it or beeswax, you'd notice it's sissing and not taking. And when you're going to say, Phil, what do you mean by sissing? Well, sissing, imagine trying to paint a wax candle. You can't do it. Well, this isn't doing that. I don't know whether you can see. Yeah, it's a nice even coat. Can you see that? Proper nice even coat, showing up the wood grain. So it's all looking good. Right, I say I'll come back to you when it's all done. But there we are, all done and dusted. Quite an easy job for somebody. Over and out. So there we go, done and dusted. How good does that look? So in the space of best part of a day, I'm not going to say it's a day, but allow for your drying time, we've gone from something that looks tired, bleached out, looking like it needs some TLC, and we've tidied it all up. So the little things make all the difference. Look at these, well, I'm calling them brass little finial caps. We've cleaned those up as well, put them on. This is good to go. If somebody wants to put a fire in it, they can do. The beauty is, with the water-based, we're not expecting any problems if there's a fire in the hearth. If you'd used oil-based, oh, this cast could get warm and start bubbling it off like oil-based can do, but I can't see that there'll be any problem with this. It's a nice paint finish to put on a cast iron fireplace like this. So there we are, all done and dusted. I'll get some stills of the other ones that we've done, which are a bit bigger but not as pretty and as nice as this, and that's it. We've just shown you how to do well, really a restoration on a cast iron fireplace. So thanks for listening. Over and out. See you on the next one.